So when you come into the park, you come up the initial set of stairs here, turn right, and not 100 feet away. So one of the cool things that's been happening with archaeology in recent times is the usage of LiDAR detection to find new cities, new lost cities. And just recently, within the last couple of years, a new city was uncovered, actually not too far from here. With the use of LiDAR, they were actually able to fly over an area that was completely forested. And using LiDAR, they can actually peer through the vegetation to see the cities that lay underneath. And they found in a massive complex, not open to the public because it's still lots of work to be done. But it was a pretty amazing discovery in an area that they didn't think anything existed. So, as time goes on, they continue to find new places and new cities and probably even some new civilizations that were completely forgotten about. So you can see some of the intricate carvings that are here on this building at the top. Just amazing work. And this city was basically abandoned 1,200 years ago, 1,100 years ago, and so it sat for all that time. And just incredible to see what they've been able to find here and restore. So we're going to head over this way, probably doubling back here a little bit, but we're going to head over to what's known as the North Group, which is some more buildings that are over here off to the side on their own group. Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? So this is what's known as the North Group of buildings over here. And based on the number of people, I think it's a good time to go and check it out, because it doesn't look like there's anybody else here. So if you remember in our previous video from Monte Alban, one of the sites that they had there was actually a playing field for a game known as, I think, Pelota was the name of it. And it had very large, seating areas on the left and right. Well, this is a smaller version of that same field. So you can see here it's got the small grassy section in the middle, and we're going to go down here and have a look at the sign and then take a walk around to the other buildings. So here is the sign here that talks about the game of Pelota, and you can actually take a walk through the middle of it here, I believe. Can't go up on these little towers, but take a walk through. The game actually, when I read about it, it actually kind of reminded me of like a hacky sack style game where you get a ball, and the idea of the game is to move it down the field from one end to the other. There would be two teams here in the middle, and there's actually a divot. It's probably grown over here a little bit, but right here in the center would have been the starting point for the game. So they would have used the ball, hands, knees, head, feet. I stand corrected, not hands. That was the whole point. So they would use anything but their hands to move the ball up and down the field to score points. And often there would be an audience sitting on both sides to watch the game as well. So we've just made our way over to the North Group here, and we're standing in front of what's known as the Count, which was a 5-layer temple with a structure on top. And I think one of the things that's maybe less known, or maybe less talked about with this area, is that in the 18th century and 19th century, this place was actually inhabited by people from across the world. Even prior to the excavation and archaeological work that was done here, this place was known as a lost city. So it's fascinating to see that, you know, some of these buildings were sitting here in the middle of the woods with people living in them for years who weren't from the area originally. And here we have what's known as the North Group. So this whole area is kind of identified as the North Group of buildings. However, what's here in front of us is officially the series of North Group temples. There was 5 buildings here in total, all of different designs. You can see, actually, compare these stairs here with these stairs over here, which are much steeper and older, and it kind of indicates that these were not all built at the same time. So they were all built over a succession of decades, and added to as time went on. You see over here there's actually some work being done on this part, probably some restoration work. So just to point out what I made earlier when I said keep your tickets, very important. I've been approached twice so far since I got here about showing my receipt for payment for recording the video. So very important. We're going to head back up past the Grand Palace and have a look at some of the other areas that are still here. Here's a map of the whole area, so just to give you an idea of what we've seen so far. We came in to the top access point here, through this area here, plus Central Plaza, Temple of the Red Queen, the main palace. We came down here to the North Group. Wow. And now we're heading back up into this section here, where the Temple of the Sun, Temple of the Crosses, and some of the other spots are. And it's just up these crazy number of stairs. It's like a pilgrimage to get up these stairs. Just gonna keep heading up here. Take your time because it's very slippery, lots of wet leaves. So welcome to the Temple of the Crosses. One of the few here that you actually climb straight to the top. Or stand here and get your favorite Instagram pose, I suppose. So, before the main event, this is the Temple of the Leafy Cross, which is just off to the side here. And they actually have a confirmation on the date of this building, which was built in 692, or at least dedicated in 692. And what they found at the top, which is off limits, was this tablet, which showed 2 characters with a cross-like element in the middle, and all the writing on the sides. Some of these was names, some were dates, and that was where they actually found the 692 date. So at the Temple of the Cross here, the reason why so many people go to the top is because inside the shrine is 2 figures. God El is represented by this character smoking tobacco. And then on the other side was Lord Serpent Jaguar II in this full regalia. The tablet that's actually here is actually a recreation. So the only thing that remains at the top that's original is the two carvings of the characters. The eternal debate, of course, is, do you go to the top or not? So many do, of course, as you can see behind me. There's, 30, 40 people climbing up and down at any point. But for me personally, and I've climbed some others before, so it's not that I can't. I just prefer to keep some of the mystery intact with these places. I mean, even just being here is incredible alone. Just look around as I pan around this whole area. It's just it's an incredible place, and I'm just feel very fortunate to be here. This here is the Temple of the Sun. So you can actually see some of the carvings on the outside of the building that still exist. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit, so you can see some of the carvings across the top there on the front, down on the columns as well. What's interesting about the Temple of the Crosses is that, the front side here, which is the part everyone sees and climbs up and whatever, is, all excavated and cleaned up and stuff. But then if you come over this way, it gives you an idea of what the state of most of these types of places are before they're excavated. And so you can see that, it's all grass and dirt. Everything's been covered over by, centuries of weather and everything else. And then you come over this way and it really kind of shows you the difference in just how much work has been done here. This one here, Temple 15, was one of the later built buildings between 750 and 800 AD, and they actually found 3 funerary chambers inside. In the central room here, they actually found a sarcophagus. Within it, they found mother of pearl, stones, objects worked, crafted out of bone, and shells, and other types of offerings that were buried in the place. So as you come out of this top area here where the Temple of the Crosses and Temple of the Sun were, there's another shot of the Grand Palace with its tower as we work our way back down here. So now that we've had a look at the majority of the larger temples and structures that are here, we're going to head down the hill. The museum that's here is actually closed at the moment. It's funny actually, because that's now the second time I've been somewhere and the museum has been closed. There's actually a nice eco walk here that you can take that goes down through the jungle towards the museum, but has some older, less developed, I guess is the word for it, less restored ruins and smaller buildings. So we're going to take a walk down through there and see what it looks like. So you just follow the signs to get down to it. You'll see some buildings going up here, which I think is going to be a new museum area. And then you just come down here to the right, and this is the beginning of the walk. You can hear the river, so you know you're in the right spot. So we've just come down from the top there, working our way down this eco walk, and we've got to what's known as the Group B of structures, which you can see all around here. This one here in front of me was a steam bath. So you can hear the river directly behind this building. And it was used for, you know, dormitories. It was used for a variety of different things. There was a kitchen here at one point as well. Here's some more of the Group B buildings here, which are far more overgrown. You can see here some of the work that's being done to open some of this up. Thank you for coming to my eco walk.